Sup lads, how you doing? Welcome to the first ever video on my second channel. This video is going to be like some analysis kind of thing. On this channel I plan to just generally do much more casual videos, you know, than on my main channel. All my main channel videos are like really highly edited, they take like a week to produce, and you know, I kind of want to provide more. So I'm just going to be doing like 2 videos a week maybe on this channel, and I'll be doing videos for all roles as well, because obviously the point was I made this channel after I learned all the roles. So even though I'm just starting off with a mid video, because like, you know, might as well, right? Mid's the role I've always played. It's a pretty cool role, so this is going to be a mid video. This game, I'm just going to be analysing, pausing and stuff, explaining what's happening pretty much. That's the analysis kind of videos. So yeah, let's get into this one. So this game is Orianna versus Yone. Oh yeah, I also wanted to say I could put face cam on these videos, but yeah, I don't know. Just let me know if you want to see that or not. So this game is Orianna versus Yone. It's from like patch 11.4. I don't know why I picked an old game, but yeah, I just wanted to analyze it. It's mostly still the same concepts, right? So it doesn't really matter. So, right, Orianna versus Yone. They're both champs that scale decently well. Orianna as a champion, she wants to just sit mid and farm until like 1 or 2 items really. Like she doesn't want to, maybe not sit mid and farm, but she doesn't want to fight, right? She wants to stay mid, whereas Yone is a champion that can roam. So as Orianna, that's something you have to be careful of, and your goal should just be to keep the Yone from roaming for as long as possible. And eventually he will get a timer, and when he does get that timer, Ori wants to use her TP to match the Yone's roams, and she wants to farm as good as possible. That's pretty much her goal in this matchup, right? So stay mid and farm, prevent Yone from roaming, and then if he does roam, use the TP to match it. If you can. If you can't, then that's fine. So room page here, I think this is fine. This is from patch 11.4. I understand Scorch. Actually, I don't think Scorch here is very good because Yone has Fleet Footwork, Door and Shield. You know he'll have Door and Shield before the game starts. Possibly Resolve as well. And so Yone just has so much sustain. I don't think as Orianna the Scorch is ever going to make a difference. So I actually think Gathering Storm is better. And also, I think Futures Market is better than Biscuits. Because Biscuits help with laning, obviously, but Yone isn't a champion you're really laning that much against, right? If you're playing against like a Lucian, you're going to be interacting with the Lucian a lot, so Biscuits is good. But against Yone, who you're not interacting with as much, I think Futures Market is better, because it lets you get better recalls. So yeah, I think I would have gone Futures Market here, but I mean, yeah, this is an old patch, so maybe things were different back then. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. But yeah, let's get into it. I'll probably just only look through the laning this game, because it's like first video ever. But yeah. So, right off the bat, FAKER is walking up here because he wants to zone Yone off of the minions, right? And he wants to poke him. Now, this is good, and obviously he's looking for Qs here as well. But one thing you need to be careful of if you're doing this is you don't want to auto-attack this Yone here. Because if you auto-Yone here, then all these minions are going to aggro onto you, right? And the damage doesn't actually matter because you have Corrupting Pot, so you're not really scared of the minions damaging you. But what you are scared of is the minions damaging you, which causes your wave to push faster, right? Because if you think about it right now, these minions are hitting these minions, right? Ignore my shit arrows, but yeah, these minions are hitting these minions. So if you hit Yone, these minions will stop hitting your minions, right? So then the wave will push into the enemy faster. And the faster it pushes, the worse that is. Because in this lane, you want to slow push, right, at level 1. And then you want to crash. You want to stack up the first 3 waves and crash them into tower, right? And crash a massive wave into tower. Because then that gives you the opportunity to poke him, cheat a recall, ward, like literally do whatever you want. So if you're ever in this situation playing, you know, range versus melee, then you don't want to auto-attack them early, right? So that's 100%, you just don't auto-attack them in this situation, right? He's just walking up because he wants to fish for Qs. You'll see he probably won't auto-Yone here, even if he gets the chance. Like here he could have autoed there, right? But he chose not to because he doesn't want it to push too quickly. Because what I see a lot of people do friends and stuff that I've coached, they'll end up pushing this too quickly, and they'll only stack 2 waves because they auto-attack, when you actually want to stack 3 waves. So, yeah, try not to auto-attack in these situations. He hits the Q, gets his mana flow procced. Here, the Yone is able to farm these minions because the Orianna's Q's on cooldown, so good move by him. And yeah, you'll see FAKER is only last hitting these minions. I don't know if I said this FAKER, but yeah, it is FAKER. And right here he goes for the auto, because only these 3 minions are alive. There are no melees, so it's not as bad. I still disagree with it personally, but it's not as bad as at the beginning. Because look, now the wave is going to push faster. And you'll see he probably ends up pushing slightly too fast here. And obviously, it may sound like I'm criticizing like FAKER or whatever. I know he's like a million times better than me. He's an incredible player. I don't mean to say that, but even FAKER makes mistakes, especially in solo queue, where he's not like fully brained on. In a competitive game, I don't think FAKER would have auto Yone there. So that's why I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'm not trying to criticize FAKER like I'm better than him or anything. Hits level 2 here. Just looking for a QW probably. Has to Q the minion, that kind of sucks. He could have autoed there as well. He could have autoed there, right? But he chose not to, because he wants the wave to slow push. One thing I actually forgot to point out, 1 second. I don't know if we even saw this game actually. Let's go back. Maybe back here. Alright, so this game, Talia actually starts off leashless, which, because we can see now, we can see enemy in lane, which is bad. I think the reason she's done that is because she got killed at the beginning of the game, and maybe Talia doesn't need a leash anyway. So Talia's starting off leashless, and you don't and you don't know where she started, which means slow pushing like this, as I said, is going to be dangerous. So I think in this scenario, a good idea would have been to level 1 ward here, because if you plan to push, then when the wave ends up like in this area, you're in danger to getting ganked to level 3. So I think not warding here is dangerous, so FAKER probably wants to look for a ward here. Because if you ward here, right, like I'm saying, then you could hover bot side, you can just like stand over here, and you're never going to die to a gank. So when you're planning to push like this, it's really good to level 1 ward. Where were we? We were like here, I think. So yeah, right now he's just zoning him, trying to land a QW. And yeah, look at this, right? Notice how these 2 minions crash into tower. This makes this wave smaller, right? So ideally you don't want to crash to the 2 front minions into tower like this, just like FAKER did here. And the only reason he did was because he autoed Yone and dragged some aggro. So yeah, possibly a mistake. It might have happened anyway, I'm not really sure. But yeah, he ends up crashing a smaller wave than intended now. So right now this is what I was describing, where you're going to crash this wave into tower. So that's what's going to happen here. You can see he's poking him at every chance he gets. Now the thing is, because of Yone's sustain, FAKER is never going to kill this Yone. But poking him is still good if you can force him to either base or miss minions. So, because he's like scared. So, even though FAKER's never going to kill him, poking him is still decent here. So yeah, now he's just going to crash this into tower. And one thing I forgot to say actually, I forgot to point out, that I just noticed, was FAKER actually warded. It was like in the corner of my eye, so I guess I didn't see it. So yeah, FAKER actually wards here. This is a really bad ward if you're playing in low elo, because this ward only really helps your jungler, because it shows you how Talia's going to path. Because the issue is, Talia could skip raptors, right? So if you ward raptors and you see that she hasn't done them, then you can roughly work out her path. As a jungler, that's useful. As a mid laner, it's much better to just ward for yourself, like place a ward that fully protects your gank, like here. Because if you ward here, she can't gank there, and you can stand here, as I was saying earlier. So this ward, you'll see them do it in competitive a lot, or in, you know, high elo challenger like Korea or whatever. It's because it helps the jungler, and the jungler will use it. But if you're playing in like plat or diamond, your jungler's not going to use this ward. So I wouldn't recommend this ward. I think level 1 would have been much better if you're playing for yourself. But he's obviously like trying to help his jungler out here. Nothing wrong with that. So right now, he's just going to keep slow pushing. Maybe stack another couple waves, we'll see. Because ideally you want to crash an as big wave as possible into tower, because then you can do more with it. So yeah, now this crashes into tower. And you'll see he'll try and poke the Yone here. Every time he goes for a minion, Yone's going to get slapped. Ah, okay. This is what I was saying. And Faker's forced to flash here. So, as you can see, the Talia ganks from bot side. So, remember what I was saying? If Faker had a level 1 ward here and he placed it at 125, 4 seconds ago, Talia was probably on this ward, right? She's probably like sitting in this bush right now waiting for Yone to get his third Q. So if Faker did a level 1 ward here, which I think he should have, he would have been safe from this gank, because he could have hovered here, seen Talia, and then just ran this way. So the thing to take away from this is that if you're playing range versus melee in mid lane, or just any lane where you're going to push, and you're scared of a 3-minute gank, which is, you know, most champs can. Some champs won't, like Fiddlesticks, for example, probably won't gank at 3 minutes. But Talia, she could gank at 3 minutes, right, before Crab. So warding here at level 1 is really nice, and then you can just stand here, or bot side. So kind of a mistake, I guess, by Faker. But, or maybe he was ready for this. Maybe he was like willing to burn flash, because now Talia wastes a bit of time, I guess. And she's only done 4 camps, but Lee Sin's done 5. So maybe he meant to do that, I don't know. But I think if you're playing in like low elo solo queue, warding bot side is much better for you. So that's what I'd recommend you do. And so now he's got no flash, which is dangerous, but he should be fine, because he can crash this wave and just eventually go and ward, because it's coming back up soon. So what you'll see he does here is he doesn't immediately crash this, right? Because if he immediately crashes this, then Yone will just farm it instantly and the wave will be reset. So what he wants to do is he wants to stack a big wave. So he'll get these 4 minions, stack them with these ones, crash them all into tower once, and then he can like do what he wants. He can back, he can do whatever. So that's why he's not like fast pushing this. And you see this wave arrives, and now he can stack them. And it also gives him more time to interact with the Yone and poke him. Right, he goes for these minions, he gets poked. The longer the lane stays like this, the better it is for Orianna, because she can keep poking the Yone. Again, he's just slow pushing because he wants to keep the lane like this. He's zoning from this minion, as you can see. Just, you know, it's Faker, man. He's taking every chance he can get. So eventually this crashes, right? And so now you actually get a choice as Orianna. You can either keep pushing. Okay, where's the music gone? Okay, it'll probably come back. You can either keep pushing or you can let it come back into you. So letting it come back into him here is bad, because what's going to happen is, or it might not be bad, right? It could be good, because if you let it come back into you, you freeze it here, and then Lee Sin ganks, that's super good, right? Because Yone is going to have to lose flash or die. But if Lee Sin doesn't gank mid, it's bad, because then Yone will stack this wave with the next one, crash it all into tower at once, and then he gets a free base. And then you're forced to use your TP, or either be really behind on tempo. So right now, Faker has to keep pushing or base. Those are his 2 like reasonable options. If Lee Sin was on a different path right now, he could let it push back in, and then Faker, Lee Sin could gank, sorry. But the issue is, it probably looks like Lee Sin's gonna base soon. He hasn't based yet. He's got quite a lot of money, so you don't really want to let it push back in, because then Yone will just get free reset without being punished. So right here, he's assisting his jungler. Bad Q by Lee Sin, but you know, that happens. So yeah, now we're just pushing, slow pushing again, same as before. You want to stack a big wave, crash it. And so, I didn't really explain this very well, but another one of the big advantages when you're slow pushing versus fast pushing is when you slow push, you can see here, right? The Yone is moving up to get a minion, right? Get a minion, get a minion. He's going to walk up to get all these minions. Every time he does that, Orianna can go boom, QW, right? So if you slow push, then the wave is in this position for longer. Yone has to walk up for more last hits, right? And then you punish him every time. Whereas if you fast push, then Yone can take all the last hits under tower where he's much safer. He doesn't have to walk up as much, right? And he can take the last hits quicker, right? Because if you think about it right now, he's going to walk up last hit, back off for 5 seconds, right? Last hit again, back off for another 5 seconds. And each time the 5 seconds passes, that's another Q for Orianna. But under tower, you're going to get a last hit, and then 1 second, and then the last hit, and then 1 second, because the tower's like blowing up the minions, right? And now Orianna, in all 3 of these last hits, is only going to get 1 Q. So slow pushing in a melee versus range where you can bully, or any lane where you can bully, slow pushing is really, really good. So when you're in a position like this, you're playing ranged versus melee, think, do I have anywhere I need to be? Right, so does Faker need to go bot, go top? No, right, he doesn't need to base, he doesn't need to do any of that, so he can slow push. And also, you're in danger, right? That's another thing. If you slow push, it's dangerous, you can get ganked. So ideally, you should fast push, set up vision, and then slow push. But here, Faker seems to be confident in himself, I guess. He's running phase rush. So you must think, if I get ganked, it doesn't matter. But yeah, slow pushing here is better because he's not scared and he doesn't have anywhere to be, so it spends longer in the lane. So any lane where you can bully, this is good. Right, now Faker actually gets ganked. As I said, he's confident he can be safe because of phase rush. Another thing you'll see here that's really interesting, I think a lot of low elo players will make this mistake. Right here, watch this next poke he does. Q, and then E procs phase rush, right? Now, what you'll notice is he doesn't W, and there are multiple reasons that W is bad here. Right, first, look at Yone's health, look at his sustain, look at his rune, right? He has so much sustain. You're never going to kill Yone as Orianna here, never, right? So if you're using W, you're using, I think, 90 mana for like this much damage, and you're never going to kill him anyway, so it's not worth it, right? For the amount of mana it costs, it's not worth it unless it's going to make a difference. Here it won't, so he doesn't W. Also, if he W's here, and because I think he autos as well, right? So yeah, he autoed as well. If he W'd, that would proc his phase rush, right? And then if Talia just waited, he's then fucked, right? Because he has to crash this wave and he doesn't have phase rush. So, and then he keeps phase rush, and then Talia ganks, and then he zooms out. So if he W'd there, he would have died, right? Because Talia would have stayed in the bush, and then waited for Faker to try and push this, and then ganked him. After phase rush was on cooldown, he's fucked. And it's also a waste of mana, because he's not going to kill him. So think about that when you're playing a mage, right? Think about, is there a point poking my opponent right now when I'm low on mana, I only have a little bit of sustain. Is it worth it to poke them when I'm not going to kill them anyway? Sometimes yeah, because it might scare them off, but sometimes no. And in this situation, no, it's not. So think about that when you're playing mana champions. Sometimes it might not be worth to poke if you can, especially when you're low on mana. And so yeah, now he wants to push because obviously he has no mana, he has no flash, Talia's in the area, like he has to base. Right, so here he'll probably base TP. I think he could also stay here. Yeah, he actually, I think he'll... Yeah, I think he stays here, right? So the two options are base now and then TP back to lane, right? And so one thing that you can do is if you base now and TP, you can freeze. But the problem is he won't regen his mana quick enough, so he'll be stuck in base and the wave's going to crash anyway. So he can't do that, right? So there's no point to base TP now. The only time it's ever worth to base and TP is if he can freeze here. But he can't freeze here because he won't push fast enough, so he decides to stay for the wave. And staying for the wave obviously gives him more money, so that's probably why he does it. And of course it's Faker, so he farms all of this, like, easy for him. And then he bases, yeah, because he has no mana, he only has one biscuit, he can't push this out, so he has to base. Like, imagine he doesn't base now and then Yone TPs, he's fucked. Oh, okay, the VOD went zoomies. So he buys Lost, this, and this. This costs 1100 gold. If he went Futures Market, he could have bought Lost Trapped here, which is why I like Futures Market, as I was saying earlier. I think Futures Market is much better on Orianna than Biscuits, unless you're in a trading lane, so... sorry, I was just drinking. In this case, it sucks that he didn't go... It sucks that he didn't go Lost Futures Market. And also, he probably can barely afford this. I can't actually see his money, unfortunately. But staying for the extra wave probably allowed him to buy this control ward. So if he didn't stay for the extra wave, he would have like, what, 120 gold less? He wouldn't have the control ward. and that's kind of bad. So that's another advantage of staying for the extra wave. So the takeaway from that is, when you're in a situation where you can base TP, right, you can choose between staying for another wave or not. Staying for the other wave is always better, unless TPing back early gives you something. Right, so think right now, if you're in this situation, think, if I TP, right, what do I gain, right? The answer here is 0, right? Because he can't freeze, because he can't, Yone will push it really fast, and he won't have time to TP. So, yeah, don't base TP here, because TP doesn't give you anything. So you might as well stay the extra wave, and then TP. Also, the extra wave probably gave him just enough money for like tier or something, so that might, I can't see his money, that might have also been a reason that he decided to stay here. Yeah, he backs, he buys that. Alright. So again, he's slow pushing instead of fast pushing, because there's no reason to fast push. You know, you won't gain anything, he doesn't have anywhere to be, he doesn't have to move top, doesn't have to move bot, doesn't have to base, because he just did that. He could go and ward, but I think he can do that anyway. Yep, so one thing, obviously as I was saying earlier, when you slow push, you're in danger to a gank, right? And he has 0 vision, like, anywhere. He has this, but it's going to expire soon. So he needs vision, right? But he can't crash this. Or he can, but there's no point, right? So what he's going to do is he's going to kill these 2 minions, right? And then, after they die, he then goes to ward. And then he comes back, and he doesn't miss anything. Right, look, all the minions that he left are still here. So when you're slow pushing and you have no vision and you need to set it up, a good time to do that is like now, when you have no last hits to take, right? You can't see it here, but all these minions are full health, so he can just go and quickly drop a ward. So when you're slow pushing, think ahead, think, fuck, I'm going to be in danger, I need to ward. Oh, sorry about that. And so yeah, he's slow pushing here. Big poke on the Yone, very nice. And yeah, you can see he's, every time Yone walks up, he's poking him. That's really important in these matchups, right? Because if he doesn't, then Yone gets a free all-in at any point. But poking him makes all-inning scary. And also, if Yone is poked, it's harder for him to roam as well. Right, if like, let's say Yone's full health here, after this wave he can just shove the next one and move. If he's not full health, he's scared. So when you're playing mage versus roamer, poking is super, super important at every chance you get. And the slow push actually gave him more opportunity to poke. So that's the benefit I keep talking about of slow pushing. Yep, bunch more poke. Keeps poking, every time he gets a chance he's poking. And right here he sees Nara on the map, so he's forced to back off. Nothing you can do about that. Now Yone gets a push, which kind of sucks, but happens. Yasuo gets like a free lane now, so there's no reason to complain. So right here, the Korea special, Faker's going to get blue. So yeah, one thing you'll see, this ward, right, the thing is, this ward is usually quite shit because it doesn't really stop anything, right? If you're getting ganked and you're standing here because you have this ward, then it's not going to save you, right? Unless you look at the map the instant they show up. So this ward isn't really nice. But here he's picking up blue, and what you'll see is as he's picking up blue, Yone is pushing the lane, right? So what that means is he can't ward. He's not going to have a chance to ward for a while, right? Because he has to push out a wave. So because rather than just sitting on 2 wards, rather than just sitting on a ward, he might as well just place it. Because he's not going to get a chance for a while. And also, after pushing this, Yone can roam bot. And this ward, you'll see him do that. So it's a nice ward in that sense. So yeah, because he's picking up blue there, it's good. And then he actually ults here. And so here, as I said before, you're never going to kill him, but you're chunking him, which makes it harder for him to roam. And it looks like something might happen bot soon, because Lee Sin is there. So now Yone can't help bot, unless he TPs. So Yone's forced to back now, right? If he was full health, he could just move bot right now. And look, shit's happening bot lane. If Faker didn't do that ult, Yone would just run fucking bot lane. No care in the world. He'd run bot lane. Orianna can't follow. And then Yone gets to help this fight, 4v3. So, poking against these roaming champions before they get a timer, right? The thought process is, you're playing against a Zed, right? Or a Talon. They're pushing in the wave. You can't stop them from pushing in the wave. So how do you stop the roam? Well, you poke them. So do everything you can, and that's what Faker did here. He's like, I cannot give Yone this chance. So he pokes him. And now Yone's forced to base. And... okay. And now obviously Yone's out of lane, so he has to push this. Pretty standard. There's no point slow pushing here, because you want to crash it as quick as possible. Alright, and now Yone TP's bot. Okay, so Yone's bot here. So, when you're playing a mage, and you're against a champion that roams... sorry, I can't... it takes so long to write. When you're playing a mage, and you're playing against a champion like roams, this will happen a lot, right? They're going to roam, and you're going to push, right? The best way to punish a roam after pushing is not to take this plate. Taking this plate is not what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to base. Because what's going to happen, right, is the roam's going to happen. The Zed is going to recall, right? So the Zed's going to go back to base. And then the Zed's going to run back to lane, right? So if you stay for this plate, by the time you kill this plate, Zed will be, or the Yone, let's say this roam plays out, the Yone gets like a kill, bases. By the time you get this plate, the Yone is going to be like here, right? And then you're forced to stay for the next wave. Because if you don't, then Yone will push the next wave and you're going to lose, right? You're going to lose the wave. So when they roam like this, Faker wants to back. Chances are he has money and this 160 gold is going to make the difference. I guess an easy way to say it is when they roam like this, you want to back when they're on the way back, right? You back when they're coming back, right? But right now Yone isn't coming back, so Faker doesn't need to base yet. So the best way to punish a roaming champion is to base while they're on the way back to lane, and base before them, because then you come back on the map with big items. And that's really, really good. A really good way to punish them is to base, spend your money, and get back on the map. He actually looked for raptors here. Places that ward. I don't really know what this ward does, to be honest with you. I've never seen it before. But, I mean, I don't know. It's a Faker thing, I guess. Now he's gonna... and you see Yone is still bot, right? So Yone isn't... I think he is. I can't really see. But Yone isn't on the way back to lane yet. So he can stay. If Yone now was on the way back to lane, it would have been better to base. Because he's not, Faker can stay. So Faker stays here for another wave. He stays, he pushes it. Okay, so right now he bases, right? And now, if you're looking at this game, you know, Yone is bot, right? So a lot of people here would think, okay, Yone is bot. To punish him, I have to take this plate. Right, but Faker would never take the plate here. Even if the plate was like 600 HP. Well, right now he can't take the plate even if he wanted to, right? Because his wave is tiny. But if his wave is bigger and he can take the plate, he still wouldn't. Because by the time he takes it, as I was saying before, Yone would now come back because the fight is over. So, you want to base when they're on the way back to lane, as I was saying. So, because Yone is not on the way back to lane yet, he's going to be soon. Faker has to base. Because if he was taking this plate now, Yone would push this, base, come back to lane before Faker, right? He would base, come back to lane. Faker would base, right? And then Faker would probably be, I don't know, here, and Yone would be like here. And then Yone would push the wave again, while Faker's like running back here, and then Yone will get another roam timer. And then that's just going to keep happening until you eventually stop it. And Faker stops it here by backing. So that's why he backs here. But the way you make this decision is you have to be aware that the best way to punish a roam is to push and base before they come back, right? You want to get back to lane with items before they do. That's how you punish it. That's the absolute best way to punish a roam. And right now, you can see Yone is not yet back. Kai'Sa covered, but she is back on the map. Faker is back on the map before Yone, right? So that is a punish. That is a punish. Because now he can do what he wants. If Kai'Sa wasn't here and Kai'Sa was like bot right now, which I think Kai'Sa died. If she didn't die, she would be bot right now. And then Faker would be in lane. Yone is probably like, I don't even know where Yone is, like maybe here. But Faker would be back in lane before Yone, and then Faker would push the wave, and Yone can't do anything, like forever now, because look at Faker's items, right? And then Yone's like a level down. So now Faker would be in complete control of the lane because he based first. So playing against roaming champs, the best thing to do is base before them when they roam. Take their roam as an opportunity to base first. Don't just take the plate and then delay your base, because then they get another timer, and another timer, and another timer. Right, so that's the thing. I see that so much when I coach people. They like, or they always go for the plate, right? And then the enemy assassin comes back to lane, and they're forced to base. The enemy assassin roams again, and then it's like, oh, bot diff, top diff. Like, no. You need to base before these champions. Can't emphasize that enough. And I also see that he bought boots here. He could have bought Lost Chapter, but he has tier and 3 pots, so he's not really scared of mana. He also has a little bit of blue buff, but it's about to run out. But Boots is also really good versus Yone, because first off he has no MR, so you can damage him a lot. Again, stop the roams because you damage him. And also you just want to run away from that FAKER, man. Like, Yone is so strong, you just want to run away, so Boots are nice. And Yone is broken, so he can actually push the wave and not be scared of Orianna at all. But let's say that was a Zed, right? Zed would be fucked in this situation. Now let's say this is like any other assassin, right? It's a Talon or it's a Zed. Right, what's going to happen is... Right now, if this is a Talon or a Zed, the Zed's going to get fucking clapped. Or the Talon's going to get clapped. Because Faker's a level up, massive items. All because he based before the Yone when the Yone roamed. Or the Zed or the Talon, whatever it is. It's so important to base before them when they go for a roam. So, so important. The best punish is being back in lane before them with your items. And so yeah, now nothing can... Oh, Yone can't really do anything. And I'm really not sure why he placed the control top lane. I would have placed it bot lane here because shit is happening bot lane. But I don't know, he has his reasons, I guess. I'm not quite sure about that. It doesn't really matter that much though, to be fair. Maybe he's looking to make a play with Yasuo, because Yasuo and Orianna have very good synergy. But in general, you don't want to roam, so I'm not really sure. And so now, right, same thing as look, as I was saying earlier, because Orianna is like so much stronger than Yone, because he got the base first, Yone is now scared, he can't do anything. He knows if he walks up, Orianna's just going to blast him. All because he based first. So don't greed for that play, and now he's going to poke him. Because poking him stops him from roaming, and also he has nothing better to do. He has no wards, there's like nothing's happening bot, nothing's happening top. So poking him under tower is good here. Yeah, the important thing to note is Faker really, really doesn't want Yone to roam. So every chance he gets to poke him, he wants to take that chance. Okay. Even Faker messes up sometimes. Messes up the ult there, happens. And so yeah, he's fast pushing again here. I think he wants to base, maybe. Yeah. So basing here, he probably has a lot of money because he farmed a bunch of waves. And also, as I said earlier, he's got nothing better to do right now. Poking Yone won't do anything because he's already low enough to the point where roaming is hard. So there's no point poking him anymore because you're not going to kill him. Also, I mean, you could kill him, right, if you had ult, but he just used his ult, so that's probably another reason. So you can't kill Yone, you can't ward, you can't roam. I think I might have said that already, but when you crash a wave into tower, right, you want to think about your 4 options. Your 4 options are roam, base, ward, and poke. Or poke plus plate, I guess, because you can hit the tower. So these are your 4 opportunities, right? When you crash away into tower. Right, so right now, he can't ward because he has no ward, so that one's gone. He can't, or he can poke, but he's scared because he doesn't have ult. Yone has ult. Talia's nowhere to be seen. Actually, he's probably not really scared of a gank right now, but poking and plating won't give him anything right now, right? Because he'll poke Yone, Yone will base, he'll base, nothing will happen, right? You're not going to kill him because you don't have ult. So poking does nothing. Roaming, you don't really want to roam on a champ like Orianna because it's really hard to do a play. It's like really coin flip to roam on a champ like Orianna or Victor. So this is out of the question. The only option now is base. And it's also a really good time to base because nothing is happening on the map, right? Like, bot lane are just chilling, like you can't see the enemy bot lane or the enemy top lane, right? So because nothing's happening, as I said earlier, the map is in a dead state. So he can just base. Looks for Yone there to stop the back. Swaps to blue trinket here because when you're playing against Yone Talia, you can't run into Fog of War to ward. It's too dangerous. The Talia will one-shot you and then the Yone will follow up and you're just dead. So you need blue trinket early against this kind of comp. But if you're playing against, like, I don't know, Victor, Ivan, right, then you can keep your ward. But right now he needs blue trinket. And obviously this is a common gank path for Talia. So yeah, and he actually sees Talia there. And that saves him. So that's a really good blue ward by FAKER. Also, I guess I should explain why he did that to the wave. He fast pushed the wave here because if he slow pushed, first off, he's scared of a gank. I mean, it's just because he's scared of a gank, right? Because if you look at the map here, I mean, they fast forward. Okay, no, you can see it here. Gnar is pushing. He's going to get a roam timer. Talia, we just saw here. This is such a nice time for Talia and Gnar to make a 3-man. As we just saw, it happens, right? So fast pushing here is just to protect himself. Because slow pushing would be too dangerous. Right, like let's say he's slow pushing right now. FAKER, Gnar, Talia come here, he's dead, so. Also, another thing to note. His support and bot lane aren't on the map. His jungler, they're pretty much not on the map as well. So he has no cover. So he needs to push this fast. Right, and then he stays and hits tower because he sees Talia and he knows he has the chance to like hit it once or twice. Like he just knows he has that time. But the only reason he pushed there is because he's scared. And he has 0 cover and he saw the Gnar and Talia move. So it's fast push when you either have somewhere to be or you can't slow push because it's too dangerous. Don't know what he'll do here. Possibly fast push because the plate is like really low. And no one's really on the map to stop him. So yeah, I think he just wants to fast push here and get the plate. Okay, so this is a really good chance to punish Yone. Yeah, fucking massive. Damn, clean. Okay, yeah, so right here, right, what's going to happen is you're going to last hit this, and then Yone wants this. Actually, it doesn't even matter if you're going to last hit this, because you're playing Orianna, you can attack while hitting the minion. So Yone is going to last hit this, right? As I said earlier, you want to poke Yone to stop him from roaming. That is your goal in this lane. Farm, stop him from roaming. So this, when he's going to last hit both of these minions, probably with like WQ or whatever, it's a really, really good chance to poke him. Or even just all in him, because FAKER may or may not have the damage here. And even so, it's good to ult him, because if you knock him down to like this HP, he's forced to base, and then you can deny a wave. So FAKER sees this, he's like, right, I know I'm gonna get a good chance to poke him here, so I'm gonna walk up. So he's standing really aggressively. And then he takes the chance, right? He also knows that this Yone isn't an idiot. This Yone would never do this if Talia wasn't waiting. So FAKER probably knows that Talia's gonna come, but he knows he has flash, so it doesn't matter. And then yeah, so he fights this, right? Because he knows even if Talia comes, I'm chilling. And normally you probably wouldn't kill Yone here. I mean, you definitely wouldn't, right? Because Yone would just ult away. But it's still worth to ult, because like imagine Yone ulted away now. Yone would be forced to base, and then he misses this wave. Or he stays for it and potentially dies, so Really, really good opportunity by, really good like usage of an opportunity by Faker to like poke when he goes up for the last hit, and then it turns into a kill because he knows that he can flash out of a gank, so he doesn't mind taking the all in. Like the only danger when you do this is the Talia gank, but he has flash, so he knows he's fine. So yeah, really, really good play by Faker. I think it could have been dangerous though. I think if Talia was faster, maybe he could have died, or maybe he knows that he's fine anyway, even if Talia hits that combo. He also popped the potion before the fight. A good play by him. And so yeah, now he's going to push this in base, probably. He probably wanted the tower play, because I remember it's like 1 HP, but you can't. So right now, you actually have two options. You can either base and TP back to lane, or you can push this, and then base and TP, and then get the plate, because the plate was like 1 HP, right? So, because you have TP, Faker can actually stay here, even though he's low on mana. And Yone's not coming back to base. So, Faker actually can stay. But, you're still scared of Talia. Because when you have no mana like this, you can't even proc Phase Rush. Right, so Talia and Morg, both missing. Very free ganks for them. So, that's probably why Faker bases, because he's scared of Talia. But you could stay and push this. Okay, he actually doesn't. Okay, Faker... Right. I think when you see Talia and Morg do this, you have the option to now stay for this wave and get the plate. Because you're not in danger, Yone's coming back to lane, you can do this, right? The thing is, that's going to give you like... It looks like it's a cannon wave, so that's probably going to give you like... I don't know... 400 gold? I don't really know. 400 gold? So if 400 gold is going to make a big difference, then... I mean, it probably isn't 400, is it? No, it's more like 300. It's more like 300 gold. So if you can... If this 300 gold is going to give you an item, it's better to stay for it. But basing now and TPing gives him like now he can push this wave and Yone can't do anything. So the takeaway is... When you have TP and you can stay for an extra wave, TPing back to lane earlier is better, because the earlier in the map, the better. But the money, if it makes a difference, you should stay for it. And it actually wasn't a cannon wave, that was me being blind. So probably the money didn't make a difference. And he gets the money now, but he can't spend it, right? So that's the issue. But I can't see what money he has, so I don't really know. I'll probably end it soon, because I was just going to talk about laning. But like, Faker's played this lane incredibly well. Like, here's Orianna, he's a level up on the Yone. He's 40 CS, 2 plates, like, and Yone's made like 1 roam this whole game. So he has played this lane near perfectly. The only reason Yone even got a double kill was probably because of luck. Like, Yone might not have got that double kill. So the way Faker poked, right? The way he used poke to stop Yone from roaming, super good, and his base timers, right? He always tried to base before Yone and be back on the map before Yone. Because basing first allows him to poke, and then poking stops Yone from roaming, which means he's not a champ. And then Faker scales for free, because the Yone isn't a threat. And he warded well, he only took fights he knew he'd win, so that was really, really good for Faker. So the takeaways from this VOD are mainly how he used poke, and how he based. So the thing with the plate I was talking about earlier, not taking that extra plate and stuff like that. He also could have warded a bit better, I think, this game, but it doesn't really matter. Right now, he could have based, but he goes for the blue. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about here. Now we're just pushing waves, because you push a wave and you try and hover, right? Like, at this point in the game, right, you're 15 minutes in. Yone can one-shot waves, right? So there's no point doing a slow push, because if you try and slow push, Yone is just going to nuke it. Same for any assassin at this point. So... when you're playing mage versus assassin in mid-game, the best thing to do is shove out the wave first, and then hover one of your sides, right? The side where you can make a difference, which is usually where your jungler is. So right now, all Faker wants to do for like the rest of this game is just push and hover aside. So right now he hovers top, and the fight actually starts, so he goes top. And then he backs off because nothing's happening, and he goes back. And yeah, now Faker gets to fight first, because Yone didn't hover. I don't know what Yone did, but Yone should have been hovering top here. But Faker decided to hover top, Yone didn't, so now Faker's here first, and the play will probably go well. He messed up his ult, but, you know, happens. Happens to the best of us. Oh my god, man. And they kill that guy. Do they kill him as well? Oh my god, bro. Look at that movement by Faker, by the way. Look at... Oh my days. I can't believe he dodges this. That's such a nice dodge. Only Faker would do this, bro. This is why he's the GOAT. It's actually why he's the GOAT. And then they end up winning the fight. So nicely played by Faker. But yeah, anyway, at this point, he now gets his item. Probably. I don't know. Is he going to buy it? Yeah. He now gets Ludens, actually. Wait, that's weird. He went Ludens with Kindle Gem. But yeah, at this point, he's so far ahead of Yone. Like, Yone's level 10. He's almost level 12. Like, Faker's done all he can here, right? It's just, right now, all it's about is pushing, hovering, and winning the fights. And he is going to win the fights, probably, because he's so far ahead. So, when you're playing this kind of matchup, right, you want to farm, stop roams. This is just the last summary. You want to farm, stop roams with poke, and not die. And also take good bases, because, like, basing before the enemy, because then if you base before the enemy, that allows you to do this, right? So your goal is to farm, stop roams, not die. Faker did a fucking sick job of that this game. Took every chance he could to poke the Yone and stop him from roaming. Took the extra play when Yone roamed bot, and then based before him and got back on the map sooner. I mean, he died to the... He didn't, like, die to a gank once. He used his flash really cleverly both times. He played really safe when he had flash. Always hovered the right side. So, yeah, the main takeaways from this is how he used his poke in, like, at, like, level 6 and stuff. And how he based, like, when he went for the plate and stuff. So, yeah. I'm going to end it here because there's not really much to talk about this game. It's just coin flip at this point. Does his team win the fights or not? So yeah, thanks for watching. This is like the first video on this channel. I'll for sure do more soon. Maybe some gameplays, maybe some other roles and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I should add face cam. Like the video and stuff. Yeah, cheers boys, in a bit.